MICE tourism is a prominent part of the tourism industry, but most people don't know what it means. So in this video, I am going to change that. So keep watching to learn all about what MICE tourism is, what the MICE tourism industry is all about, and some examples of MICE tourism. If you are new here, my name is Dr. Hayley Stainton and I'm here to teach you all things travel and tourism. So let's get right to it. What is MICE tourism? MICE tourism is part of the business tourism industry. It encompasses 4 niche areas, which are meetings, incentive travel, conferences, and exhibitions. So as you can see, MICE tourism is actually an acronym for the 4 terms I just mentioned. It has nothing to do with rodents. No, nothing at all. MICE tourism is typically tourism provision that is planned in advance and designed for large groups of people for particular purposes. Leong defines MICE tourism as a type of tourism where groups of participants are gathered to achieve certain purposes. So let's dig a bit deeper and take a look at all of these components of MICE tourism. The first component is meetings. MICE tourism includes any types of travel for the purpose of a meeting or meetings. This ranges from small meetings to large meetings. Meetings can be short in duration, i.e. last a couple of hours, or they can be long. They could last a week or more. Types of meetings include, but are not limited to, board meetings, focus groups, training seminars, strategy planning, shareholder meetings, management meetings, and briefings. Traditionally, meetings have been predominantly face-to-face. However, recent years have seen a big shift towards virtual meetings, which was of course accelerated by the COVID pandemic and the subsequent rapid move to digital means around the world. And this will likely result in the continued decrease of travel for the purpose of meetings in the coming years. Incentives. Incentive travel refers to the travel that intends to motivate or reward company stakeholders. There are different types of incentive travel, including familiarization trips, team building trips, reward trips, and workations. Research has demonstrated that incentive travel is an important corporate culture builder. If you are looking for a way to motivate your staff and enhance productivity, retention, and output throughout your business, then incentive travel is often a worthwhile investment. We then have conferences. A conference is an event that facilitates presentation, discussion, and the showcasing of work within a professional network. Conferences are often important networking events and have been a prominent part of the business tourism industry to date. Conferences can last a day or a week or more, depending on the structure and the purpose. People have historically travelled great distances for the purposes of conferences, particularly in the travel and tourism sector. Whilst COVID saw conference organisers adapt and move online during the pandemic, there will always remain a space for physical conferences. There is no replacement for the face-to-face networking opportunities that occur during conferences. Thus, physical conferences will be here to stay. Many conferences may move towards a hybrid approach too, where they have some online attendance and some physical attendance. And we then have exhibitions. Exhibitions provide an opportunity for businesses to showcase their products or services. They are often in the form of a trade show. Exhibitions will typically include stalls, breakout rooms, discussion points, presentations, and opportunities for networking. Exhibitions are often large events involving large amounts of people. Whilst you might not have heard of the term MICE tourism, it is actually a really big industry and it has been growing in recent years. This growth has been particularly prominent in Asia, where tourism in countries such as China and India have increased significantly. There have been more conferences organised and more exhibitions in recent years than ever before. This is in part due to a growing population worldwide. It is also because our world has become more interconnected and more globalised, thus requiring more meetings, conferences and other events that require international travel. And the MICE tourism industry is also really important. Here's why. MICE tourism can be beneficial to a destination's economy. It also provides a wealth of opportunities for individual companies or organisations who want to put themselves on the international stage. Other benefits of MICE tourism include facilitating the access to new technology, attracting high-spending visitors, providing high yield and return per capita, enhancing the international economic contact, creating more economic multiplier effects and competitiveness, enhancing off-peak tourism. MICE tourists often stay longer and they spend more money than other types of tourists, making them important tourism stakeholders. MICE tourism can also help to contribute to community building, urban renewal, and growth of the national identity. Furthermore, MICE tourism can encourage development in a destination, particularly in the areas of convention and exhibition centres, improvements of airports and other transport infrastructure, and various urban renewal schemes. And because it's such a big and important part of the tourism industry, there are lots of players that are involved with MICE tourism. But who are they? MICE tourism is a multifaceted industry. Here are some of the stakeholders that are involved. There are transport providers, international and domestic, accommodation providers, people who provide pre- and post-conference tour opportunities. There is the staff that work at specific venues, which could be purpose-built centres or hotels, for example, professional conference and exhibition organisers and catering services, social programme leaders for delegates and participants, and specialised technical support such as audiovisual services. The variety of stakeholders involved in MICE tourism indicates the potentially wide-ranging economic impacts of MICE tourism. It also provides rationale for support from government agencies in many countries. In addition to this, it indicates the scope of the challenges which must be met in coordinating the activities of different stakeholders to ensure that the MICE tourism industry is sustainable and effectively managed. So we know it's big, we know it's important, but what does the future hold for MICE tourism? The MICE industry size was valued at $805 billion in 2017, and it was expected to grow at a rate of around 7.6% per year to reach $1,439.3 billion by 2025. MICE tourism is here to stay, but much of it has or will continue to move online, meaning that the monetary value is significantly reduced. The continuing MICE tourism industry growth, whether this is physical or online, shall have a positive impact on the growth of businesses, cities and destinations around the world. As I mentioned before, globalization has played a huge role in the growth of the MICE tourism industry, and it is anticipated that this will continue well into the future. Exactly how the MICE tourism industry might look in coming years is not entirely clear, but what is clear is that it is an important industry, it's valuable, and whilst we might not know exactly what it will look like, it's not going to go anywhere.